Hello everyone. Let us start with a few videos on a string object. So my definition for today is to find out how many characters are there in a string. Now the source of the string can be from the user. You might have a fixed string, or you want to fetch any of the HTML element and find the content's length. So we are going to take all the three at one go and see how the length property is used. So first thing, we're going to create a variable in which we will store a string, a direct string. For example, say hello. Uh, we will take one more variable. So for that, I need a text box, which I have already created. The name of the text box is txt1. So I will fetch the value of that text box in the variable b. So we'll try and find the length of this variable also. And as far as the text, the HTML part is concerned, okay, let me make one. Um, we'll create this and fine. So there's a paragraph that I have created, and I am interested in fetching the length of this text. So for that, I'm going to use one more variable. Now, how do we fetch the value of this? Now, whenever you are looking for any element, you have to fetch an element from here. Obviously, I've given an ID here, so I can use the get element by ID. The other option is query selector. So you can use either of them. The difference between the query selector and get element by ID is that in get element by ID, you will be able to fetch an element only if it has an ID attribute set. With the query selector, you can go ahead and use the ID name or the class name or even the element name. So I'm going to use in the query selector for today because in earlier videos I have used the get element by ID. So right, this method needs you to mention the name. So I'm going to look for a paragraph. So I can go ahead and write in paragraph. I can go ahead and write in ID main. Okay, this is also valid. Now, since you know that IDs are unique throughout the page, you can just skip this part and you can just write in main. Either of the three options are going to work just fine. Now, this after fetching the paragraph using the ID, I will have to actually find out the length. So I'm going to use, there are two options again. You can use the inner HTML or you can use the text content. So let us start with creating the lengths. Um, so this is the length of a variable. So how do you use the length property? You just write a name of the string or name of the variable which holds a string followed by the length property. It's a property, don't put the brackets. Next up, I need to find the length of b. So b dot. So length b should be containing the length of the string that was entered, possibly in the text box. If it was empty, then this should contain 0. And for the c, now c represents the element. So a C represents the whole element. So I'm interested in fetching this, right? So I have to use either I can use the inner HTML and then I can use in the length property. This is one option. And the other option, okay, we will take both the values and see how this works. So instead of inner HTML on C, I will now use in the text content. So just to show you the difference between the two, I will need to insert bold tag as well, right? Let us see how this goes and let us try and interpret. So I should be having four lengths calculated. Now finally, I need to show these lengths. So a very simple option would be, okay, so that's my fixed string and the length printed. Next up is the entered string and the length printed. Next would be the HTML string and the length would be, so HTML string using inner HTML and HTML string using text content. Let us see the output here. Okay, so I'm going to put in, well, this thing is showing up because I've created a paragraph. Hmm. So let me try and enter a string here and let us try and dissect what is coming up. So I'm getting the fixed string length is 5. So what was there in the fixed string? There were 5 characters. Now it counts every character, including the space character, if it is written within the quotes. So this thing I'm getting, the output as fixed string is 5. So it contains 5 characters. Next is for the entered string. Now in the entered string, I entered India. So B contains India. And if I find the length of India, India contains 5 characters. So the entered string is showing that it contains 5 characters. Now, as far as the HTML string, inner HTML, I'm printing the length C1, right? So C is the actual element. Which element? The paragraph element. And for the paragraph element, I am fetching from the paragraph inner HTML. So I'm getting to see the value 16. Now, what is 16? 16 is all the characters between the paragraph and the slash paragraph, including the tags of HTML. So hello is 5 characters plus space, and this is 4 characters, brings it to 9, 10, 11, 12, and these are 4 characters, 16. So inner HTML actually considers the entire text and all the including HTML tags and properties and characters. As far as the content is concerned, the text content is going to show you 9. So what does this 9 mean? 9 means excluding all the tags, whatever number of characters are there. So there are 5 characters of the word hello, 1 character space, and 3 characters for this. So total of 9. So that is the difference between an inner HTML and a text content. But all in all, I have shown you how to fetch the length of the string. So length of any string is fetched using the length property. You can try this definition and I'll see you in the next one.